Yes, God chose women.
More quickly, that we have met women and girls achieve their ambition and achieve excellence. For instance, in our own local government, we have good leaders who
We'll deal with the program until the third speaker finishes, and then.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as we converge here today to commemorate International Women's Day, I think our thoughts and prayers should go out to all the women and children and all the families who have been affected by the recent tropical cyclone. And of course, our prayers must go to those who have lost their loved ones and those who have been fatally injured during this cyclone. The Fijian government has taken immediate steps to reach out to those families, and we continue to do relief works. And for that, we are grateful to the tremendous support shown by the individuals, our donor agencies, our NGO partners, our faith-based organizations, our international donors, and all the individuals, the corporate bodies who have been very swift in their reaction to be on the ground to assist those that have been affected by the cyclone. And I'm sure as a nation, we have been challenged through unity and courage that we can conquer the devastating effects of this disaster. And as I said, our efforts need to continue. I believe for this event, this is the third year for staging this oratory. And for the last 2 years, there was only one category of participation. But this year, you have both urban and rural schools, especially primary schools from Lautoka, participating in this year's oratory. That is indeed very encouraging, and this broadens the opportunity to primary schools in all areas as well. And such participations, ladies and gentlemen, will provide exposure to our students, not only to learn from one another, but at the same time to progress from lessons learned, from lessons heard today, and have it as a takeaway message for improvements for the future. While we do this, children and parents and teachers, let us also remember that there are many students who are currently learning from temporary learning shelters. Students who do not have basic learning materials, such as school uniforms, school stationery, packed lunches, and are further disadvantaged by the fact that at the end of each day, they will again return to their temporary homes where they may not at all find a supportive learning environment. This is what we are faced with, and to overcome this, we need to get stronger. We need to work together, and we need to rise up and build a new horizon where our children will be able to greet each day with a smile, knowing that they are being supported. Now, coming back to the theme, the global theme for this year's International Women's Day, if I may say that again, is pledging for parity. At this time and situation we are in, I would like to say in simple terms, it's about commitment to ensure that those affected have access to water, sanitation, health services, where women and girls are free from all forms of discrimination. Pledging for parity is also about narrowing the gap, ensuring a promising future that will provide women and girls to effectively participate fully without any barrier, whether it is participating at school by providing opportunities for everyone to choose a subject or to take a career path they would like to pursue. All in all, pledging for parity is about fairness for both men and women. Of course, we cannot overlook the contribution of our men and boys. The road to bridging the gap has to be in partnership. And where there is a will, I'm sure you know there is a way. And I'm glad to note that we do have some boys participating in this oratory, and we look forward for probably a greater percentage of boys representing their schools when such matters are being discussed. So congratulations, young men. You are already on the way, fighting for gender equality. Thank you for that. And at the international level, we are a party to global commitments. Therefore, our local commitment is a vehicle to achieving these global instruments, and these include our Sustainable Development Goals, the Beijing Platform for Action, and of course the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. And here I'd like to state that it is through empowerment, societal empowerment, women's empowerment, participation in education, decision-making, training, access equal access to full employment that will provide linkages to the sustainable development. At this time, as we continue to cope with the effect of TC Winston, I believe that no sustainable development is possible without specific attention to some very, very important daily issues such as climate change, access to water and shelter, and a reliable source of income for the many families around Fiji. The Fijian government is committed to pursuing gender equality through including all members of the society into all aspects of development such as planning and implementation. At the end of this process, I believe everyone will benefit accordingly because all of us were part of it. Coming to women and coming to International Women's Day celebration, I'm sure you'll all agree that women play a very major role towards development within their families and communities. The world is realizing that if you want to have sustainable development, you need to have women and men working in partnership. By supporting women in societal setup and giving them equal opportunities such as education, healthcare, livelihood, the whole community benefits. When we engage women as equal partners in society, there will be less death for infants during the first year of birth, more children stay in schools, income coming into family increases, existing safety net for those that could fall into the cycle of poverty can also be reduced. Another factor that is affecting us in trying to fight for gender equality, ladies and gentlemen, is the issue of violence against our women and children. Every now and then you hear about reports, whether it's from NGOs, whether it's from government, whether it's from individuals, that the level of violence inflicted upon our women and children is increasing by the day. That brings us to the question, what is it that we are doing wrong? Why does it continue to happen? Given the fact that we have intensive awareness programs, we are trying to target people at family levels, yet we see that violence continues to increase. Now that is an issue we cannot fight alone. No NGO can fight it alone by itself. No government can fight it alone. No family can fight it alone. This is where we need to have a shift in the mindset. And where does that shift come from? I think that's the shift that this generation will bring about. This is the shift that we expect our new generation to come up, that violence in any form is wrong. Violence within the home is wrong. Violence within, I'm sure as teachers you know, the ministry, the government does not condone corporal punishment on the children. That is a form of saying no to violence. And we seriously need to put a stop to this violence. If we want our children to be protected, if we want our women and girls to be protected, if we want to live a society that is better than what we found it, then we will have to have a coordinated effort. And each individual, we believe, at the ministry, we believe that each individual has the power to make the difference. We will have to say no to domestic violence, no to child abuse, no to rape, no to sexual harassment. And I think this is the right time for us to voice our concerns, whether it's at individual level, whether it's an organizational level, whether it's in government level. So we need commitment from every individual to say, look, enough is enough. We cannot subject any more. We cannot subject any more violence inflicted upon our women and children. Because it's simple. Children who grow up within families where domestic violence prevails, children who see their parents fighting, they grow up believing that is okay. Okay? We need to be very careful about what movies our children watch. So these are some of the things as parents, as guardians, we can do. But at the end of the day, we all have to agree, no matter what the situation, no matter what the circumstances, no woman should be beaten, no child should be sexually harassed. And that is a very, very serious issue that we are currently facing. Okay, so my humble plea to the teachers, please take care of the children while they are with you. And at the same time, if you do make contact with the parents, try to see that the message goes across. Okay, it's very painful. I mean, those families that go through losing their child, or those families that have their children that have been subjected to domestic violence or sexual harassment or rape, they only know the pain. We can only say, unless and until we go through it, we will not understand the pain. And we don't want any child to go through that traumatic experience. We do not want any parent to go through that. Okay, because I think we all know the impacts are long-lasting. You and I may read in the paper about a sexual harassment case and we might forget. But think about the family that goes through it. Think about the child that lives through that. That would be a nightmare. So we really need to come up with that empathetic view. We need to empathize with those families that go through this. And we can do it. Okay, we can do it. And one of the reasons why the government of the day is promoting education is simply so that we have a society that is informed and educated and learned society to make choices and to make decisions. So a simple appeal to all the men and women here, please try to ensure that you work within your homes and within your communities and within whichever platform you are in, to advocate for this, to advocate for zero tolerance to domestic violence. Now coming back to tackle domestic violence and that, the Fijian government has responded by putting in place relevant laws, policies and programs to eliminate such violent behavior in our lives. But you would understand, you cannot show a law to somebody and say, hey, this is the law, stop violence. You cannot do that. You might have beautifully crafted laws, the best laws that a country can have, but it's a mindset. It's how an individual thinks and how an individual behaves. That will make those laws effective. And coming back to that, and at the ministry level, what we are trying to do is we are involved in a lot of awareness programs within women's groups and societies. We have for the children, last year we started up our child helpline. I'm sure teachers would inform their children about that. It's a 12-hour helpline with the number 1325, whether you have Vodafone, whether you have Digicel, or whether you're using a telecom line. Pick up the phone and call 1325, and then there will be a person, counselor at the other end of the line who will take your queries and concerns. Okay, children? 1325. What is it? Okay, so go and tell your other students. If you are in a problem, if you have some issues that you want to talk to counselors, please give us that call. And at the moment, we are in the process of ensuring that we have a 24-hour service. At the moment, it's a 12-hour service, 8 to 4. We are trying to make it a 24-hour service delivery, and hopefully in the coming months, we will be able to launch a 24-hour child helpline platform. And of course, to the adults here, you know there's a domestic violence decree of 2009 that protects women and children, and of course men too. I mean, you can't argue with the fact that men are not victims of domestic violence, okay? So these are decrees in place, and the police simply has to take a no-drop policy, okay? There are certain, this decree means that all cases that are going to be reported, there is no reconciliation, there should be no reconciliation, and of course the court takes precedence from there. And we have a child welfare decree as well, if you can make more awareness of that. And the child welfare decree is also done to promote and protect the health and welfare of our children. And there's a mandatory reporting. People who are aware that children are being subjected to abuse and violence, it is mandatory that you report that to us, and we will take it forward. And it is only, I believe, I know all children are ready to go, just allow me to say a few words. I believe we can only succeed in trying to tackle all these issues together, and we need to talk about this so that we can promote a society that is caring and compassionate. And of course, finally, as we celebrated Women's Day last week, right? Okay, this is a belated celebration. Let us join our hands together and make a pledge. Of course, we are pledging for parity, equality. So in the wake of the devastation that T.C. Winston has left across the country, let us pledge our support to all those out there. Okay, our prayer will do. If you can sacrifice a little bit from whatever you can, right? Just to put a smile on somebody's face. Because we really need to rebuild the lives of our families and our children and men and women who are still struggling and coping to make their ends meet. And we need, they need our prayers and support at this crucial time. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, and dear orators, I'm sure you're waiting to see who's going to take the trophies. But allow me to say this, you all are winners in your own way. Okay? Not everybody has the courage to come up and deliver. I know it's very scary. The first time I remember when I was asked to, as a teacher, when I was asked to deliver a vote of thanks, I was about 22, 23 years old, way back in 1990s. I remember I rehearsed my vote of thanks so many times. But when I came and stood in front of the audience, and this is how my hand was going. I was scared. But I'm sure you're all bold and courage, and you did your deliveries very, very well. And it's only human to make mistakes. And I'm sure you all did you did pretty well. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are our real winners. Whoever takes the trophy, whoever takes the certificates, well, you are a different winner. But all of us, all of you who have taken part in this oratory, congratulations, and thank you very much. And God bless you. And finally, if we can thank our sponsors for making this possible. So Shania Water Group Fiji, thank you very much for making this possible for the students of Lautoka. God bless and have a safe Sunday. Thank you.